Hi. So I'm going to make some blondies. There's a couple of people that have asked me for the recipe now, so I just thought I'd do a little video as well because I can't have people in the house and I can't show anybody what I'm doing. So I thought I'd show you by video. If you don't want to watch, don't watch. And if you want to learn how to make blondies, then fingers crossed it'll turn out alright. It's probably the only full time I've made them. Made some more the other day, well yesterday and the day before, and we can't eat them fast enough. So I made some. These were mini egg blondies with Biscoff on top, just left over what I had from Easter eggs. And these were millionaire shortbread blondies. So they're very much like brownies, fudgy consistency, not cakey, and but not brownies, basically. So you can see, I don't know whether you can see the texture on that, it's fudgy. And then those bits on the bottom, mini eggs. And then that one, definitely very fudgy with salted caramel sauce on top as well. So you can do, I think you can do basically anything. I'm going to try cherry today. We'll see how that goes. I need a cloth. Right, so I'll put a list of ingredients under the video when I post it. But basically, I've got a pan, a brownie pan. It's about that big by that big. About 12 by 8, something like that. Lined it with greaseproof paper. Put some golden syrup in the bottom, about 2 tablespoons, and 100 grams of white chocolate. If you've got white chocolate chips, great. If you haven't, just 100 grams of Aldi Essentials white chocolate, chopped up in little pieces. And I'm going to melt that on the bottom of the pan, sort of to give it a bit of a crunch on the bottom. Well, that's what I'm hoping anyway, make it a bit sticky on the bottom and a bit more chewy. So oven's on 160, and I'm just going to pop it in for 5-10 minutes. So that's in there. Set that for 6.5 minutes. Right. Oh, forgot to say, I've got some butter melting in a pan. That's 200 grams of butter, proper butter. Don't use margarine because it's a lot thinner. I generally tend to use proper butter. And just melt it on a really low heat in the pan. Chop it into chunks and just stick it in a pan. Okay, right. Let me check on that. Yeah, just on a really low heat, basically, ready to melt. So now I'm going to get all the other ingredients together, and it's just a one pot thing. So what we need now is 100 grams of caster sugar, and if you've got light brown sugar as well, stick 150 grams of light brown sugar in as well. So you need 250 grams of sugar all told. Okay, so caster sugar, 100 grams. Get that in there. Ooh, 99. 100, yes. Right. Light brown sugar, Tesco light brown sugar. And you need 150 grams of that. So, ooh, that's 200. That's too much. Just get that big lump out of the middle. 157. That'll do. 152 grams. A little bit more, a little bit less. It'll make that much difference. Right, so that's it for the sugar. To make it fudgy, you need 4 eggs for this, but you only need 2 whole eggs and 2 egg yolks. So, yeah. If it's not sticky, the mixture when it comes out, just add another egg yolk to it, no egg whites. Or well, I added milk the other day and it turned out a little bit more cakey, which was all right for me because I think the first one was dead stodgy. So I had a little bit more milk, Anyway, you'll see when I make the thing. Okay. So, eggs. That's if you can get hold of eggs. Okay. Right, so I'll try and separate these as I'm doing them. And if I can't, then I'll just chuck the whole lot in. In fact, it's easy to separate eggs. So that's an egg yolk. Just squish it into your hands. Can you see what I'm doing? And then get the egg whites off. Egg yolk in there. And then 2 more eggs. All of them with the whites as well. So 2 egg yolks and 2 whole eggs. And I'm using large eggs. So that goes in. And free range as well. If you can get them. Right, so that's 4 eggs gone in. So 2 whole eggs and 2 egg yolks. Right, now flour. So for the dry stuff again. So we need 285 grams of plain flour. So, plain flour. Don't throw the egg whites away, by the way. You can always make meringue with those. Right, so 285 grams. Plain flour. I wouldn't use self-raising because then it will just turn out cakey. And if you're going to buy flour, I'd always buy plain flour because you can always add baking powder to it to make self-raising. Well, it's not self-raising then. It's manual raising. 285. And then, if you've got it, 15 grams of corn flour. If you haven't got it, then 300 grams of plain flour. But try and use corn flour if you can. Again, it just makes it a little bit more stodgy. So you're making it up to 300 grams, basically. Perfect. Corn flour. Right. And then, right, and then you need to add the cherries. Hang on a second. Right, butter's melted, so I'm just going to put that to one side to cool, because if you don't cool the butter, when you add it to the mixture, it can cook the eggs, which will make them scrambled, and you don't want scrambled eggs in your cake mixture. So I've got half a tub of Glace Cherries, and I'm just going to chop them up, just quarter them. And then, so bear with me while I'm doing this. Probably should have done this before the video. If I can edit it out afterwards, I will. Then you don't see me chopping it. Ooh, what would be really good is if I can put it on fast forward. And I'm doing it all dead quickly. And then, once you've chopped up your cherries, it's a good idea to rinse them through in a sieve to get all the stickiness off them, and then just put a little bit of flour in, because otherwise they'll just all stink to the bottom. Stink to the bottom? Sink to the bottom. Bear with while I'm just washing these. And that's my timer going off again. Right, so cherries are done. Timer. The pan out, so you can just see what that's like now in the bottom of the pan. It's sort of melted, bits and pieces of melted white chocolate, and golden syrup that's just bubbling away. That's the melted butter. Cherries. So I'm going to put the cherries in a bowl with some of the flour. And I'm going to dry the cherries off a little bit first as well, because otherwise the flour's going to stick to them. Just bear with 1 minute while I get some rest in the... I was just going to say, rest in the iPad and leaning it against paper towels. Right, so dry the cherries off. Paper towel. And then stick them in a bowl with the flour. Okay. Okay. And just coat the cherries with the flour. And then they won't sink. Hopefully they won't sink to the bottom of the Blondie when you mix them in. Right. Hang on a second. Butter should have cooled now to a certain extent that when I add it to the mixture, it doesn't cook the eggs. It does look like scrambled eggs. If you add the butter, if you add anything hot to eggs, it just cooks them straight away and they end up looking like scrambled eggs. So I'll mix it in a bit first and then whiz all the butter in. Pan. Right, and then give it a good mix round. I'll show you in a minute, you can't see what I'm doing. There we go. And I'll show you the consistency in a minute, but put a bit of elbow grease into it. If you're really posh and you've got a mixer, then you can use a mixer, but no point in dirtying more pots than you need, because if you're anything like me at the minute, I seem to be washing up the dishwashers. The dishwasher's on now, it's going constantly. If I hear one more time, what's for tea, what's for dinner, what's for lunch, one more time, I swear to God. Sugar butty. Mum also used to say sandwich, but just in case you're watching me kids, I'm not saying that. At least not out loud. Tried that one with mine and they weren't impressed. Right, so I've got a mixture, sort of blobby. We get it to that consistency. That looks about alright to me. Just give it a little bit more whiz round. Right. Like I say, if it's not that and it's too hard, then either your eggs weren't big enough, because I think I was using, I was using large eggs. So your eggs might not be big enough. So in that case, I would just add maybe a couple of drops of milk. It depends how stodgy you want your Blondies. I added a couple of drops of milk the other day, you know, like a couple of tablespoons of milk. And they were a bit more cake. They weren't cake by any means, but they just weren't as stodgy as the first batch that I made. So now I'm going to add cherries. Maybe not enough in there. What I might do as well is I might add a bit of Almond Essence. So I'm making it a sort of a cherry Bakewell. Oh my God. Oh my God, yes. Right, that's what I'm going to do. So I've added that in there. Almond Essence. Yes. Don't know. How much? How much do you think? Teaspoon? Teaspoon. Teaspoon. I didn't use salted butter. If you've got salted butter, you can use that. But I haven't got salted butter, so I'm going to add a bit of salt just to combat the sweetness. You won't taste the salt because it's normally just in the butter anyway, and there's only a bit, but I'd say about half a teaspoon of salt, no more than that really. Right, so now I've got that. I'm alright with that, I'm quite pleased with that. I might try, the next time I do it, I might try with ground almonds as well instead of some of the flour, because that might add a bit more flavour. Ooh, I'll let you know. I'll let you know how that works out. Right, I'm just going to add this into my brownie pan. Hope you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, you can. Right. So I'll stick that in there. There we go. And just try and take it out to the corners of the pan. It will all sort of melt into the corners when it starts getting heated up. So I've got, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to, I suppose you could have a bit of jam on top of this if you wanted to, if you've got cherry jam. Ooh, that might be quite nice. That might be quite nice actually. Right. If you're the kind of person that was like licking the mixture off, make sure you're not pregnant though, because there's like raw egg in there. Okay. Right. Got that. Then, flaked almonds. I'm going to put a few of them on the top. Scissors. Normally, if I'm using flaked almonds in a recipe, I would normally toast them first, but I think if I'm putting these on the top of this, I shouldn't need to toast them because they'll already be toasted by going in the oven. In theory. I'm hoping so anyway. It's a good job I'm not doing this live. If I was doing this live and it turned out shit, I'd be mortified. It turned out rubbish, sorry. Yeah, if it turned out rubbish, I'd be mortified. Whereas this way, I don't have to show it if it doesn't work out, so you might not even see this. Right, so that's what it looks like. Hope you can see that. Might just tip the iPad over so you can see. You getting that? So that's what it looks like before I'm going in the oven. Stick it in the oven. I stick it on for about 20 minutes and then you might need to do it another 10 minutes. If you take it out and you wobble it and the middle is really wobbling, then stick it back in and just do it in 5-minute increments. And then when you take it out, if it doesn't wobble or it only wobbles ever so slightly, then take it out and it's done. Okay, stop the video now and then I'll redo another one. Right, so 20 minutes it's been on for, and can you see it's very wobbly and it's very light on top, so that's not done enough. So we're just going to put it on 5-minute increments, I think, and I'm just going to check it again after another 5 minutes. Bread rolls are in there for our tea as well. Right, so timer's gone off for another 5 minutes, so that means it's been in 25 minutes altogether. So I'm still going to put it in for another couple of minutes. It's going golden around the edges, can you see? And I'm not happy. So I'm just going to put it in for another 3.5 minutes, and then it should be done. Okay, so all told now it's been on for about 28 minutes. That's what it looks like. Happy with that, no wobble on it. So I'm just going to put that there to cool for about half an hour, and then I'm going to put it in the fridge to set, because with it being sort of still quite liquidy in the middle, you need to set the cake, the fudginess of it. So I'm just going to leave it to cool properly here for about half an hour and then stick it in the fridge for an hour or two, and then it should be absolutely fine to cut up and eat. So I'll show you the results. We'll do a bit of a taste test. Right, so got this out of the fridge now. It's been in the fridge for a couple of hours. And I've just taken it out of the baking tin and got all the greaseproof paper off and everything else. So first cut, let's see what it's like. Can you see? Oh yeah, good. Moment of truth, whether it's cake or proper blondie. Have a look. see that? Oh, that's what it looks like. Looks proper fudgy. Let's have a go at cutting this and getting a bit of a taste test out the middle. I'm hoping it's going to be almondy. I'm only going to cut it into little pieces just to give it a go. So I don't know whether you can see that or not. It's not cakey at all. It's quite fudgy. So let's just go. Oh my god, that's gorgeous. And taste the almonds and that layer of white chocolate on the bottom, that comes through as well. I suppose you could just put white chocolate chips in with the cherries as well. That'd be quite nice. That's really nice. Alright, have fun.